Okay, it's just gone 8:45 and it's time for the Bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. This morning it's read by Keith, ZS6 Hotel India, and I'm out at the first Bryanston Scout Group in Bryanston doing a Joti weekend with the Scouts. So I'm working off my cell phone, so please bear with me if there's any issues. But what we'll do today is we will start firstly with the news from the the South African Radio League. News for Sunday the 20th of October 2024. Good morning and welcome to the weekly news bulletin of the South African Radio League, read by Keith, ZS6HI from Bryanston in Johannesburg. In the news today, the Draft 2025 SARL Diary of Events, SARL Awards and Trophies, and contest news. Stay tuned for more information on these and other interesting news items. We begin this bulletin, unfortunately, with news of two silent keys. It is with deep regret that we announce that the keys of Pine Pinar, ZS4 Zulu Bravo, XZS1 Zulu Echo, and Quibus Juster ZS3 Kilo Juliet went silent on Saturday 5 October and Sunday 13 October 2024 respectively. We extend our sincere condolences to their families and friends. You are listening to a news bulletin of the South African Radio League. The Draft 2025 SARL Diary of Events. The Draft 2025 Diary of Events is available on the League website. Click on SARL Diary of Events in the yellow menu. Clubs are invited to provide the SARL Secretary with dates of their meetings, flea markets, and other activities. Please send these to secretary@sarl.org.za. SARL Awards and Trophies. SARL members and affiliated clubs are hereby invited to submit nominations for the SARL Awards and Trophies listed below. The awards and trophies will be handed out at the 2025 awards dinner in May 2025. The nomination forms in MS Word are available on sarl.org.za at members/AGM/AGM members. Please collect all the signatures on one document. Convert the document to PDF and submit it to the SARL Secretary by midnight on Friday, 31 January 2025, and only use the email address secretary@sarl.org.za. The Tinus Langer 7066 Technical Award. Do you enjoy building pieces of equipment to use in or outside of the shack, or software to use for amateur radio? Well then, how about entering for the Tinus Langer 7066 Technical Excellence Award? The award is bestowed annually on the league member who submits a technical project in any of the following categories: the design and or construction of projects such as a preamp, SWR bridge, patching unit, automatic idea, practical antenna ideas, mast, portable gear, power supplies, etc. So then anything goes. Or any software for use in amateur radio. The submission must include the actual items if size and mass allow, or photographs, particularly in the case of antennas and masts and so on, and a complete write-up in article form with illustrations and pictures ready for publication in Radio ZS. The award is a framed certificate and a cash award of 1,000 Rand. That can help the budget. The closing date for entries is midnight on Friday, 31 January 2025, and must be sent to secretary@sarl.org.za. The first entry was published in the October 2024 issue of Radio ZS. So yeah, for that you've got time over Christmas, when all the school holidays and Christmas holidays, you can put your article in for Radio ZS. SARL Club News. Halloween is on the horizon, but never fear, SARL Hamnet is near. Have you diarized to tune in to the next Power Hour Tech Talk on Wednesday evening, 30 October at 1900 CAT? Our guest speaker is Brian, ZS6 Yankee Zulu, and he'll be giving us an in-depth look at what happens behind the scenes at SARL Hamnet. Scary stories and all. The Power Hour will take place on Zoom, enabling everyone to connect, and will be relayed on to the 145-700 ZS6STN repeater, Echolink ZS6STN-R, and connected All-Star nodes. Please see the SARL upcoming events diary for all details, as you have less than 2 weeks to prepare. Join the Power Hour Tech Talk on Wednesday, 30 October at 1900 CAT. You are listening to a news bulletin of the South African Radio League, read as part of the ZS6STN Sandton Amateur Radio Club Sunday Bulletin. Moving on to contest news. The 2024 CQ Worldwide DX SSB contest runs from 0 UTC on Saturday, 26th of October to 23:59 UTC on Sunday, 27 October. The aim is for amateurs around the world to contact as many other amateurs in as many CQ zones and countries as possible on 160, 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10 meters. Observance of established band plans is strongly encouraged. The contest exchange is an RS report and your CQ zone. For stations in Eswatini, Bova Island, Lesotho, Botswana, Namibia, Tristan da Cunha and Gough Island, Zimbabwe, South Africa and Marion Island, it is a zone 38. www.com/rules.htm. And I'd like to encourage everyone to participate. If you're a DXer, you can do this with a simple in-fed half-wave, wire antenna, dipole, inverted B, whatever you've got in your garden can work. It obviously helps to have a nice big 3-element Yagi, but wire antennas work perfectly because this is, to my mind anyway, is one of the premier international competitions that we can have a lot of fun with. And they're always looking for people down in South Africa, and in the African continent because they get some bonus points for that. So even if you've got not a 1 kilowatt station, you will be attractive to the other players out there. So give it some thought. You can operate as a single operator for, you don't have to be there for 48 hours. You can just operate for a few hours. You get lots of new DX contacts in the book, and that can help towards your DXCC awards and so on as well. It's I've always enjoyed it, and you can come in the placings because there's not that many people from Africa and specifically South Africa that participate. You can participate as a single operator on a single band, or you can participate on multiple bands. That is really up to you. Consider your strategy. Right, we'll move on to the results of the AWA Valve QSO party held on the 5th and 6th of October 2024, as they have now been released. In the AM section, first, Ludwig Combrink, Charlie November. Second, ZS0 AWA on a Yaesu 52 FT102, sorry, my apologies. And Ludwig was operating on a Morrow MB565. That was in the AM section. In the SSB section, first place goes to Nico Ulofsa, ZS4 and November, who was running a Yaesu FT101. Second went to Tinus Potgieter, ZS2 Echo Charlie, running a Kenwood TS570. And third to Dave McGregor. Congratulations, Dave. Awesome. ZR6 Delta Mike on a Vertex VX1700. Now, Dave, always hear you on the air, so congratulations there, Dave. There were 53 stations active and 6 logs were submitted. That's terrible. Come on, guys, we've got to submit these logbooks. Congratulations to the top scorers. Then the results for the 80-meter QSO party, held on the 3rd of October, have also been released. Here, first place goes to ZS6 at DDT, Dave Dutoy, with 450 points. Second place to ZS6 KBS, Quibus, on 435 points. And third place to ZS6 DPS, Adani, on 365 points. Well done to Dave, Quibus and Adani. The combined results after both legs are: first place, ZS6 Delta Papa Sierra, Dani on 665 points. Second place to Philip, ZS6 PVT on 610 points. And third place to ZS6 DDT, Dave, on 450 points. Congratulations, guys. The Durban Amateur Radio Club congratulates and thanks all the members who took part. The certificates will be issued shortly to all the participants, and your support of this annual event is highly appreciated. We'll now move on to the propagation report. Hannes Kutsia, ZS6BZP, reports that the solar activity is expected to be at moderate levels. There are currently 7 sunspot regions with simple to complex magnetic configurations visible. There is a high probability for C-class and a low moderate probability for M-class flares. Hey, considering the 20-meter conditions from the first Bryanston Scout group yesterday, we didn't get a single 20-meter contact. Hopefully that will improve today. So if you want to do your own frequency predictions, the expected effective sunspot number for the week will be around 119. The 10 to 20 meter bands will, especially in the late afternoon, early evening, provide some good DX fun. Please visit the website spaceweather.sansa.org.za for further information. Finally, here is a diary of some upcoming events. 21 October is the closing date for the 80-meter club logs, and the 80-meter contest took place on Wednesday, this last week, Wednesday evening. I unfortunately was not able to participate. I was stuck in an annual general meeting, but I hope that Sandton Club was well represented because we were tracking 2nd, 3rd, 4th place continuously on the club contest. So let's see where we came. Thank you for all those who participate. Don't forget to get your logs in by 21 October. Then next weekend, 26th and 27th of October, is the CQWW SSB contest. Grateful all those who want to participate in DX. Then 30 October is the Sandton Power Hour Tech Talk, and it'll be the Halloween hour with Hamnet and ZS6 Yankee Zulu, so Brian. So please tune in for that one on the 30th of October. On the 31st of October is Diwali, so watch out for all the lights. Awesome, awesome. And the 2nd of November is the West Rand Arc Boot Sale. And as you know, the West Rand Arc Boot Sale is always a great social gathering, as well as to pick up that odd connector or that odd cable or some maybe historical treasure. So get out there on the 2nd of November to the West Rand Boot Sale. And on the 9th of November, it's Heidi Lamar Day. Okay, not quite sure what that is, but anyway, Hedy Lamar Day. And on the 10th of November, it is Remembrance Sunday. It might be also worth mentioning, it's not listed here, but on the 16th of November, we fly the Baker balloon. And I will try and get all the frequencies, repeaters, APRS, SSTV frequencies for you, so that we can participate actively in the Baker balloon launch on the 16th of November. I might sound like a broken record, but as mentioned, Stuart will be flying a whisper beacon, and we're hoping to fly that one around the world. So Stuart's already built that. He was up here for the launch on the 12th, but that one didn't happen because of the winds were blowing in the wrong direction. So now we're going to launch on the 16th of November. So looking forward to the whisper beacon being up there so we can track the balloon's progress around the world. And then we're also putting up, Sandton Club's also putting up a SSTV transmitter. And this one's going to be a little bit of a challenge for everyone. You need to get the images, and there's going to be a series of images. I'm not going to give the game away. And embedded in those images will be some words, and you've got to put together a particular, you're going to have to identify the quote and who made the quote that is going to be across those slides. So a little bit of excitement and interest, and I think we'll even award a prize to the first person who gets the quote and the author of the quote for that Baker balloon flight from the SSTV images. And we are putting up the UHF SSTV transmitter, which will be broadcast on 432-400. I think it's 432-400, but we'll publish all those frequencies to you later. And even if you're far afield, we've got Pudo. We can Pudo your prize to you. So get ready for the Baker balloon launch on the 16th of November. I know that we've also been asked to review the contest manual. That's out for review at the moment, and then nominate for the SARL awards. So please do give those some consideration. If you've got somebody in mind and you don't want to go through the PT of putting it in yourself, then just send it through to info@zs6stn.org.za. I'll table it with the committee, and we will see if we want to submit a nomination in for those nominations we receive. So go for it, guys. Please do consider those awards. There's so many of them that I'm sure there's one in there for a Sandtonite somewhere along the line. And then the QRP contest was held yesterday. So I know that I was sitting next to Matthew here at the First Bryanston Scout Group, and there was quite a lot of activity on 40 meters. Obviously the logs will come in over the next week, and then we will do the marking, because as you're well aware, ZS6STN is the sponsor for the QRP contest. I hope all those that participated had fun, and best of luck. This is the final one for the year, so now we're in the running for those prizes at the end of the year, and that'll be announced towards the end of the year, and then the awards in May at the SARL dinner in 2025. Can you believe it? Almost 2025 yesterday. And then I'd also like to say, Kevin, ZS6KNA, we heard you on the ISS satellite yesterday. Unfortunately, you didn't hear us, but I did see there was a lot of activity chatting to the repeater via the repeater on the ISS satellite yesterday. Okay, so here we go. To conclude the SARL Bulletin, a recap of the main news story. The draft 2025 Diary of Events is available on the League website. Click on the SARL Diary of Events in the yellow menu. Clubs are invited to provide the SARL Secretary with dates of their meetings, flea markets and other activities for inclusion in the Diary of Events. Please send your inclusions to secretary@sarl.org.za. This concludes the SARL Bulletin for this morning, and you've listened to a SARL News Bulletin written by Kevin Berger, ZR2BK, proofread by Herman Erasmus, ZS6CTA, and this morning read by Keith, ZS6HI. From the SARL News team, and best wishes for the week ahead. But stand by, there's more. I already gave some of the club news this morning, but now I've just got to reorientate my cell phone, so bear with me on this one. And we will then bring up the birthdays. So, where are we? So, today is the 20th of October, and the birthdays in and around the 20th of October are as follows. We've got Christine Bauer on the 22nd of October. We've got Jan Schubert on the 22nd of October. Hendrik Gelderblom, and I think Hendrik might be getting myself confused, on the 23rd of October. Richard Gears on the 23rd of October. And Clinton Beale on the 24th of October. Darren and Tennant on the 25th of October. Myself on the 27th of October. And Marius Snyman on the 27th of October. So, guys, if you've yet to have your birthday, have a great birthday. Well, these are all yet to have your birthday, but they all start on the 22nd. So, enjoy your birthdays, and we wish you many, many more. Right, just a little bit of an update in terms of what's been happening out here at First Bryanston Scout Group. On Saturday morning, we had the Cubs for about 4 hours. There were, I think, there were about 5, 6, 7, 8 teams or so. And within each team, there were about 12 Cubs. And we had 3 CW stations running. And these Cubs are awesome at CW, just to put that in perspective. So what the Cubs had to do is they had a tic-tac-toe board, or noughts and crosses board. And the columns were marked A, B, C, and the rows were marked 1, 2, 3. And what the Cubs had to do is, using a little CW generator, they had to generate the reference of the square where they wanted to place their cross or their O, so the X or O. And the kids were actually, after a little bit of practice, quite adept at using the Morse key and getting it right and saying A3 or B2 and so on. And it was a lot of fun, and the kids thoroughly enjoyed it. The Cubs even gave us 3 woofs afterwards to say a big thank you to the Sandton Amateur Radio Club for being here and for having that game going playing with them. So it was Matthew, ZS6MTV, who put that game together, and it was enjoyed thoroughly by all the Cubs. Then in the afternoon, it was their turn. We had a bit of a braai between the Cubs in the morning and the Scouts in the afternoon, so we had a nice little braai out here, and braaied some sausages and bread rolls and nice sauces, a couple of juices, and we even had a Tex bar. Can you imagine? Thank you, compliments of Matthew. That was for dessert. And then it was the turn of the Scouts, and what we did is Richard, ZR6 Delta Echo, he and Matthew went and hit the fox along the riverbank between ourselves, the first Bryanston Scout Group, and the first River Trail Scout Group, which is a few kilometre or so down the road. And the Scouts took our little UHF and VHF radio finders, antennas, and they needed to go and track and find the radio transmitter, which they all succeeded in doing. So a big thank you to Richard, ZR6 Delta Echo, Matthew, ZS6MTV, for getting that all going and letting the Scouts have fun tracking the fox. This morning we're on the radio, so I would like to encourage those of you who can, you can stay on VHF, UHF, and we can have one of the Scouts too. At the moment they're on HF, trying to make contact with some of the other Scout groups around the country. And I would like, if you're on HF, you can seek us. I think we're around 7135 at the moment on HF. So it would be great if the Scouts can have a conversation with you as well. So it would be wonderful if you can stay on. But hold on, there is more. So this morning, the talk, well, let's open to club news. Is there anybody else that would like to give us any club news? I know the RAE was on Saturday morning. Maybe one of the guys from the RAE is on. The RAE exam was on Saturday morning, and I think I've seen lots of thank yous to the RAE team, the lecturers and the coordinators on the WhatsApp group. Maybe somebody would like to come in and give us an update on the RAE and how that went. But anybody, if you don't mind, just let us know that you would like to come in and give us some club news. ZS6STN is now listening for club news.
ZS6GM.
Okay, I think that was you, Chris, ZS6GM, QSL.
Yeah, Keith, it was me. Good morning to you again. And just a very quick one. Hedy Lamarr was an actress, a musician, and the inventor of spread spectrum radio communications. Frequency hopping spread spectrum, over.
QSL, now, thank you for that, Chris. I've learned a little bit this morning. Spread spectrum communications, thank you for that. I didn't know what the celebration was about, but that's interesting. Thank you, Chris, for that tidbit of information. Is there anybody else that would like to give us any club news? ZS6STN is listening.
ZR6DX.
Thank you very much, Noel. ZR6DX, ZS6STN.
ZS6STN, ZR6DX returning. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for the news so far. And yeah, just to give you a bit of an update, I was at NARC yesterday morning, the National Amateur Radio Centre, where all the local, we have people even from Mpumalanga coming right there. So we had 9 people writing there, and just want to say thanks very much to Samir, to Gerrit, and to Jafran for being the invigilators, and also very much thanks to my wife who went and opened up for us in the morning. And I had something else to do, but I managed to get back there not long after they started the exam. So just a big thanks to all of those people, and yeah, guys, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be on air, who's not going to be on air, and hopefully we're going to have lots and lots of new people on air this semester. Also went through to the Western Amateur Radio Club after the exam, and had 5 people right in there as well. So big thanks to the Western Amateur Radio Club as well, and to all the clubs out there, in fact, who have really put the effort in behind getting people into this wonderful hobby of ours. And without those people, without those clubs that put in the effort, at the end of the day, yeah, we're on to hiding second to none. So thanks to all of those guys who are out there that have given up their time, all the HF assessors and everything else as well. So thanks. That's all from my side. Just let you know what happened at the National Sandton Club yesterday. Okay, Keith, back to you from ZR6DX.
Thank you very much for that, Noel. That is great to hear, and And I did see some Facebook communications. I think Sasselberg was out there with some of their students doing certain things and various other clubs. So it's awesome. And thank you for doing all the coordination with ICASA and stuff. I know that the guys are always interested in now getting their pieces of paper with their call signs and the licenses. And I think that takes typically about 2 weeks to get that out. So guys, we're looking forward to getting you on air very soon. And it'll be wonderful to catch you on air, not just at an HF assessment. Hi. Okay, right. I think last call for any more club news. ZS6STN is listening. Okay, nothing heard. I think it is worth mentioning that ZS6 Lima Zulu was out at our field day site, the Sleepy River Caravan Park, yesterday. He might be there this morning as well. But he is testing various antennas and so on for our next field day competition. So with ZS6 Lima Zulu helping us get those points for the field day, ZS6STN can only fly the flag high, and that's wonderful to see that the guys are excited and interested in getting this going. Thank you very much for doing that, Brandon. Looking forward to seeing those new antennas. And for those who don't know, Brandon put up a 3-element 10-meter wire Yagi at the last field day and got us quite a number of 10-meter contacts. So thank you for that as well. Right, I think it's time to move on then to the topic of interest this morning. So this topic of interest is titled, What Life Might Be Like in Alien Oceans. And it was written by Miko Tatalovic. So here we go. And I know it may not be entirely radio related, but I know most of us are interested in science in general and all sorts of things. So I think this will be of interest to a number of us on frequency. And remember that all the communications that we have with all these space vehicles is via radio. I know they're testing some lasers at the moment, but most of it is still via radio. So that's where we come into the mix. So the European Space Agency has launched a spacecraft to search for signs that Jupiter's moon could support life, Jupiter's moons could support life in the oceans beneath their frozen surfaces. If they can, what would organisms look like? So recent discoveries had led astrobiologists to think that moons are the most promising places for alien life to exist in our own solar system. And now several major space missions are being planned over the next decade to search for hints of life there. Unlike our neighboring planets, some of the moons have plenty of liquid water. Jupiter's moon, Europa, for example, is thought to contain more liquid water than all of Earth's oceans combined. This water, and any life in it, is protected from space radiation and asteroid impacts by a thick layer of kilometer-deep surface ice. A mission to investigate whether Europa has conditions capable of sustaining life is expected to take off on 14 October. NASA's Clipper mission will take 6 years to reach the moon, and its findings could radically change our understanding of the solar system we inhabit. So this is 14th of October, that's a few days ago. So mission to investigate the icy moons of Jupiter has begun its 8-year-long journey. The European Space Agency's ESA, Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, or JUICE for short, will visit Callisto, Europa, and Ganymede to assess whether they have the right conditions to support life in the oceans beneath their icy surfaces. It will travel on a circuitous path through the solar system using the gravitational pull of Venus and the Earth to slingshot it towards Jupiter, where it is expected to arrive in July 2031. Can you believe these long planning missions? It's brilliant the way they plan these long-term missions. The spacecraft carries 10 different instruments to map the surface of the moons and peer below their frozen crusts. It will make 35 close passes of the moons before settling into an orbit around Ganymede. The discovery of plumes of water shooting up from Saturn's moon, Enceladus, and Europa has suggested they could have warm interiors that can support grow powered by radioactive decay in their cores or by tidal heating generated by the gravitational attraction of the planets that they orbit. There is now evidence for water oceans on several moons, including Europa, Enceladus, Callisto, and Ganymede. One study published this June estimates that the Enceladus ocean is around 1 billion years old. Others have suggested it may be even older, which is plenty of time for life to have evolved. These oceans are also thought to be salty, containing sodium chloride, like Earth's oceans, which is another boost for the prospects of Earth-like life. Also, there is likely to be an interface between the liquid water and the rocky mantle below the oceans, key ingredients for interesting chemistry that scientists think led to the origins of life on Earth. NASA's Cassini mission, for example, detected molecules in Enceladus water plumes that hint at the existence of hydrothermal vents on the moon's ocean floor. Similar vents exist in the deep oceans of the Earth, where magma meets salt water and provides heat, chemicals, and a substrate. Helpful for the complex chemistry some scientists think was needed for life to first evolve on our planet. Deep below the surface of Earth's oceans, there is practically no sunlight, as would be for the case for oceans of Jupiter and Saturn's moons. But that doesn't mean there is no life. Indeed, on Earth, such thermal vents are teeming with life. Some years ago, Natural History of an Alien, a BBC documentary, suggested that entire ecosystems could also be based around deep-sea thermal vents on Europa. A team of scientists suggested that bacteria would form the base of the food chain, using chemosynthesis to extract energy from the vents and build tall tubes of deposits rising many miles above the ocean floor. Other creatures, such as fish-like grazers, would pierce these tubes to suck in large amounts of bacteria to feed on. They would be territorial, defending their grazing patches against rivals, and in turn they would be preyed upon by shark-like animals streamlined for speed, using echolocation to detect their prey. This is much more advanced than what most scientists expect to find on the moons of Jupiter. Even on Earth, for some 90% of our planet's history, the only life that existed there was microbial, says Andrew Knoll, a professor of Earth and planetary scientists at Harvard University. So if there is life in space, chances are it's going to be microbial. Knoll says, and in places like Europa or Enceladus, it would have to rely entirely on chemosynthesis for energy, so it could probably only support a small biomass. But such an ecosystem might still be possible, says Dmitry Sasolov, an astronomy professor and director of the Harvard Origins of Life Initiative, a center supporting multidisciplinary research to discover whether life is abundant in the universe. Just because Europa's ocean is cold and lacking in energy doesn't necessarily rule out complex ecosystems of a smaller size evolving there. Speculating is fun, Sasolov says. My gut feeling is that there is a lot of evolutionary innovation space possible there, where you can have something which is small and yet predatory, and is a multicellular organism rather than just a single cell. Another moon we're planning to visit presents a whole different puzzle. Saturn's moon, Titan, is the only world beyond Earth known to have stable bodies of liquid on its surface. When the Huygens probe from the Cassini mission landed there in 2005, it sent back pictures of an Earth-like landscape, riverbeds and seas. But rather than water, the clouds, rain and seas of Titan are made up of liquid methane and ethane, components of natural gas on Earth. Any water that does exist there is solidified into rocks and mountains because its surface temperature is around minus 180 degrees centigrade. This means that while its landscape might look familiar, the actual conditions are totally alien. If there is life, it would rely on methane and not water, and would be exotic life, as we don't know it, i.e. True aliens. It is possible and plausible that life exists on Titan, but with a completely different, independent biochemistry, says Sasolov, whose long-term goal is to figure out if there is an alternative biochemistry and how to create it in the lab. Life on Earth depends on cell membranes made of phospholipids, molecular chains with phosphorus oxygen heads and carbon chain tails that bind to each other to form a flexible membrane in water. Methane-based life would need an alternative way to form cells. And a Cornell University team showed in 2015 that small molecules made from nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen could build cells fit to survive in Titan's conditions. Since then, NASA researchers have confirmed the presence of vinyl cyanide in Titan's atmosphere, an organic compound that could provide such cellular membranes. So at least in theory, cells that could form a very different life in Titan's vast methane oceans could physically exist there. So I think we're going to stop there. This is on an article on www.bbc.com, and it's quite an interesting article. So if you're interested, go up and read on that thing. But it is wonderful to see these exploratory satellites going out there to get a little bit closer than we are right now to these moons to actually see whether a lot of the theories and the hypotheses are correct. I think that brings us to the end of the bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club for this morning. I'd like to thank all those who participate and contribute from time to time and make it interesting, and all those specifically out there listening and letting us know that they are out there listening. And do the relays, and to everybody that contributes to our hobby and coming in, and specifically to those who listen out there every Sunday morning to our bulletins, participate in our events, and let us know that they're out there listening as well. So this is Keith wishing you all the best for the upcoming week until next week's Sunday's bulletin. And at this point in time, I bid you 7-3, and I'd relinquish all frequencies for general use. 73 ZS6STN is now QRT.